Hello and welcome into the Sorare Spotlight. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdino on Sorare. Joined today by a very special guest. We have Tulga from Sorare today to talk about the new Sorare sets. Tulga, I know there's a lot of work gone into this. How does it feel to have it finally be out in the open for everyone?
What's up, Laird? Good to see you again. Good to chat like always. It feels great. I think it's a project that we've been thinking about since, I would say, November. A lot of things were highlighted. We had like the limited editions of the Halloween Curse Set edition, and also the quick play NBA and football. And two things really came out of that. One was, as you know, the limited supply that we can do is a clear kind of warning or just a signal for us to like pay attention to. And then the second one was with the quick play, in order to get more people in and a one card kind of gameplay, like the high price points and all. And so we're thinking like, what can we do to like create like a lower price point game that we can get a lot more people in, and all these talks led to another that we can go through in a second, and eventually it culminated a full team effort to come up with the sets that came out with today.
Yeah, one of the things I was just saying to you before was it feels like the current common game is quite engaging for pro users, that there are a lot of people that I know who are, playing rare, super rare, and uniques, and also kind of grinding the common collections. And so it feels like you guys have kind of an engaging game already. Was this one born more out of like trying to more focus on onboarding, or is it just, hey, we need a new game mode for maybe a big event that's coming up?
Yeah, it's a good foresight. I think it's a couple things, right? Like, as you know, with the Sorare 26, we're pretty happy with like how it came out, with how the community has like responded to it, how the market's been active, how like everyone's been sharing and really loving like staying engaged and playing. And so if I think back to like that F1 analogy that I told you about before, where they're, in F1 team, you have two cars. You have the number one car with the top racer, which we said was like our pro users. And then the second car is like the rookie, which we say is like new users. We really focused on the engine and the things to tailor the experience for the pro user. And, the car is moving really fast this year. It's getting points, and we feel really happy with it. But with the onboarding, let's say the rookie car for the new user, what we did was we set out to create like a common game, and the OG common game was there to kind of be an onboarding for new users, kind of help them focus on more daily engagement kind of plays with opening packs every day, going to market, completing kind of collections, daily runs and stuff like that. And so, yeah, we saw there was a fun from the game for like the collecting side, but we thought that it lacked the true spirit of the limited plus game. And so, we kind of see that users are understanding our concept, the UI, the UX and everything, but they can't really go to the understanding of the true ownership and like playing for something. And so we try to solve that. And our focus for this last couple of months was focusing on the rookie car and being like, what can we do to increase the speed of this car by like 30 seconds, to catch up and hit some points. And so what we did was we created a really like easy to like a mobile friendly, really easy user friendly thing, like experience that we can go in depth on. But to answer your question, it's more for like really the new user experience. And so it's cool that the pro users are playing the common game, and it's great for them to really enjoy the idea of collecting cards, having a different experience from scouting, where they can just open packs and the surprising delight of unpacking a GOAT card or a high top tier card. But I think that the real focus was to bring all the excitement of Limited Plus to the common game, create a really in-depth common game so that the new users can really feel that experience that everyone else in the community knows and understands.
Yeah, that sounds great. We're going to go, I'm going to bring up the blog in a quick second. Before I do that, I'm going to give props to at least the people on the podium here, Dean, Fraxy, and Robert. So congratulations to you three. And really the question everybody was wondering before the stream, how retro is Tulga's shirt going to be this time? And you said, I actually showed, what was the comment before? Somebody was guessing, Holty was guessing that it was a Candy Liverpool shirt from 1989. You were like, I showed this to you before we started, and you were like, oh, it's only a 90s Italia shirt. And I was like, only? Like, it's another banger. So don't worry about it.
Cheers, appreciate that. I always try to flex some of the jerseys I have every time you drop.
It's a collection that I think we're all jealous about. So we're going to go through the blog, like I said. anybody in the live chat, bring on whatever questions you have. We'll try to keep up with them. And actually, maybe before we even get into the blog, Don kind of brings this question of like, what's the reason for creating another common game on top of the current one? Because, like I said, the current one is pretty engaging, although it does feel like I feel like I see enough people who have almost completed it. Essentially, you know, they have all the collections from the leagues that they play. So, what was kind of the initial reasoning for creating this new free to play? Are we even calling it like a common mode, or is it something
Yeah,
else?
I would call it new scarcity. You know,
Yeah.
I think we had talks in Christmas about like idea of like, you know, we're hitting like a new like we're hitting our cap, right? Our game is a cap supply, like limited supply kind of game, and scarcity is a feature, you know, not a bug, as you said. And so we have to embrace that. But at the same time, as a business, we should think, how else can we, you know, do our primary business model of selling cards, and what's a cool way to do that? And so we kind of killed like three birds with one stone, and we looked at the common game as a place to kind of think about how we can really create a really exciting scarcity. And it does a couple of things, right? Like we have the luxury of having like an infinite supply. We have the luxury of creating a really true card collecting game where every 2 months we'll cycle a new series and have like a very cool design. And then all the managers can, you know, unpack the packs and unpack really rare special edition cards that are true scarcity and like a true rarity. And you know, in the future maybe they can trade and collect or sell or whatnot. But like it's a something like that we want to introduce. And in terms of the actual game mode, yeah, we like it mimicked like the hot streaks, but we want to turn it up one notch and be a bit more mobile friendly. Use a lot of patterns that like kind of a lot of premium like mobile games do, and kind of like I think that helps create a bridge to all the new casual users to come in, recognize like similar patterns that they've, you know, played in other games, and kind of be onboarded to our kind of hot streaks kind of model.
Yeah, it does seem like it's a kind of a combination, or maybe not a full combination of hot streaks and quick play, but it does kind of incorporate things from both. Is it as simple as the feedback you guys got on both of those has just been overwhelmingly positive, and you were like, okay, let's just keep this train going?
Yeah, I think a couple of things, right? Like what we like about the common game is for new users is like there's no idea of a overwhelming idea of a scout. Like you have to scout a whole like deck of cards to kind of to get started. Like you can just open a pack, see what you have, see what the chances like the cards dealt you, and kind of play with that strategy. As well as like it's such a high price point at the limited plus where like you need to really, after doing all the scouting, you need to then like get all the cards and be invested for the whole season. And what we want to do was, you know, do a bit of a different model where it's like a freemium style model where you can just like, you know, open packs the same as you can do now. You can pay to get, you know, even better, rarer cards like through the packs, and then play seasonally for like every 2 months. And so, sorry, I think I lost the question. Did I answer that or not? So
it was more just, you obviously got positive feedback from hot streaks and quick play, and so a new game
yes, thank
should
you. So
incorporate those.
yeah, and so we want to incorporate that. And what we looked at and said, like, what is currently an issue with new users, even with this cool, like, great model that the pro users love, and we saw that we're a bit too stuck in the old ways of a very pro-centric model of like a desktop model, like as you said before, with the high price points of scouting. Another thing that we thought about was for new users, once they like scout their cards and play, like they need to wait like a couple of days for their players to play, and then afterwards they need to wait a couple of days for them to get their reward. So it's like a very long game loop. And what we try to do was we introduce hot streaks into the new game mode, have zero game idea of a game week kind of cadence, and just do lives. And so when users come in, they have this onboarding that we'll go through in a bit. They can finish that within 15 minutes, get rewarded 3 times, close the game loop for them, understand how it all works out, and then they could just play and set up lineups whenever they want. And that's like kind of the beauty of it. It's like we're kind of meeting them like where the casual gamers are, and kind of like having this really on-demand, quick-paced kind of game mode. You know, and they can like have the idea of like lives and set their lineups. If they miss, they lose a life. If they, you know, if they go forward, they win the hot streak. They go up, they replenish their lives, kind of like Zelda. So stuff like that.
Love it. Love it. So if anybody is watching on YouTube, at least the link for this blog is in the description of that video. It's also all over the I mean, it's from the Sorare blog. So if you just go to the website, it's there. I'm not going to read this word for word, but the one thing I did wanted to touch on, and you mentioned it just now, that kind of the old Sorare is more like of a desktop game, and this one's going to be more mobile, for, like it says here, mobile first. And is it more that you guys have gotten feedback that you want a more mobile friendly game, or is it just that you think that this just works better in that setting?
Yeah, I think for a casual user who's coming in hearing about Sorare, like they're probably going to be with their friends, or maybe see an ad somewhere, and what's the first thing they're going to do is they're probably going to open their phone, Google Sorare, whatever, click the link, and we want to meet them where they are and create like a very easy interface for them. So once they download the game, they don't have all these kind of friction points,
Mm-hmm.
So with the pro-centric desktop model, there's a couple of things that come with it. As I said, one, like you have the very complex kind of UI that we see, which is great for power users and for pro players. They have all the different competitions, but I don't think a first-time user wants any of that. They just want to know, what is this game? Will I have fun? What can I get out of it? And so we're trying to like create a very simplified, streamlined version. What we found that was cool too with the current common game was, we introduced like hot streaks, the collection missions, daily runs, and the issue with like people loved it and engaged with it very much, but like there were so many different mechanics that were all kind of in different places, and they didn't really interact well with one another, and it created this very fragmented experience. And for new users, that's just like they're going to drop right away. They're kind of get overwhelmed. They don't know where to go. And so we thought, like, what can we do? And we thought, if we are mobile friendly, if we look at patterns very like similar, like mobile apps use and game, like, the top tier games use, they have like a simple interface. They have, things like Duolingo, maybe Score Hero. They have like a one linear path. And then on the sides, they have like optional seasonal kind of like side games, And so by taking those patterns, we can, with all like the fun, like kind of missions I said before, like curate a very simple interface for the users where everything is there for them in the patterns that they're kind of used to. And so they can focus more on the game. Is it really fun for them? And rather than focus on learning the UI and all the different mechanics.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because as we've kind of talked about before, the UI is generally made for people who've been playing the game for a while. Like it can be, I would assume that it can be overwhelming for people. And we actually have also discussed that you hide a lot for new users, like that, they're not going to see all of the, if they come in and play just common or just limited, they're not going to see all the rare, super rare. So, but it is kind of a balancing act of how much do you want to show versus where do you get to the point that it's a bit overwhelming? Just a quick question. Pico Player said, will Sorare Set only be available on mobile, or is it still available on desktop as well?
So it'll be available on desktop as well. What's going to happen is that when the new users sign in, they'll see just the board. They won't see anything else.
Okay.
And for existing users, it'll be a tab in the play page. So it'll be just another game mode. And so you can access it on desktop and mobile. But yeah, what's really interesting is that last year with the common game, we had a very simplified navigation. And we found that it worked really well for new users, but we realized it wasn't enough. And so we needed to drastically reconsider the whole desktop kind of narrative and move it to a more mobile first kind of design.
Makes sense. So we've got the first kind of iteration of it. And I think you said a couple minutes ago that is the expectation that each set is going to be about 2 months each?
Yes. So the goal is the World Cup, to have a really amazing polished product, social features and whatnot, to really capture that audience, that demand that, usually what happens with the World Cup, everyone wants to kind of play something and be kind of, tied to it, to enhance their, experience when they're watching the World Cup.
Yep.
And so the idea of this is that we're going to have like, this is the winter board. We're using the winter kind of assets because the creative team, the product design team really need to focus on creating this whole UX, UI, and set experience. And then after 2 months, you will have a new kind of board of a whole new design. The creative team have been cooking. It actually looks really sick. I'm really excited to share those things, but I can't yet. But for the winter one, as I said before, with like, the race car analogy, like this we're trying to build for the fans with the fans. And what we're doing now is we're building the first MVP, the minimum viable product of what we think could be a great experience. And we're want to test as much as we can before the World Cup. And so this first iteration of the board is going to be a really cool product that everyone can kind of test, play, give us feedback, what they like, what they don't like, and we're going to iterate for the next board. And as well as the iterations of the learnings that we have from the cadence of opening packs, playing their teams, winning hot streaks and whatnot. They can give us all the feedback that they like, and then we'll implement that for the next board, as well as maybe introduce like social features. And then by the time the World Cup happens, we'll have like a really polished product if we keep on doing that as a community.
Love it. Love it. So I guess given that time, are we looking at basically 2 boards after this before the World Cup?
I think 1 board after this and then the World Cup. If I'm
okay,
bad, my calendar times are bad, but I think that's the idea.
Okay. So this one says we're going to start the end of this month or early February, and then goes until March 22nd. So I guess that is pretty far. And then 2 months is May. Yeah, you won't have time for a full another board, I guess, if we stick to the 2 months. Launching with La Liga, Bundesliga, Premier League, and Ligue 1, using the same winter edition card designs that we already have kind of on the site here.
The cool thing about the new ones are we actually created these ones first, but we couldn't use them because we were tied to a scarcity, like the yellows of the limited, the reds of the rare. We wanted to do like a really cool snow winter pack, and it allowed us to, with this new kind of set scarcity, it allowed us to go full like creative with how we want to express ourselves as a card, like a design company. And so we're really happy. I think there's a picture of the cards and everything, but they take like a full snow style. Here, so you can see the backgrounds. Like this is like the initial proposal that the creative team had, which we all fell in love with, and we said, wait, we had to do the scarcity. So that's kind of what happened, and this just goes to show, like with each set, like the world's our oyster. There is no limits to the creativity, and you can imagine the next board is going to be something even crazier. And this is what we want to do, is like we wanted to make our designs really accessible to the casual user. Right now, because you have to invest for a whole year and whatnot, like the cards are priced for that for a whole year utility. And so the cards, are pretty expensive for a new user. So if they want to get in, they have to spend at least, $100 to have a good experience. And so with this, when you shorten the timeline to 2 months, we're able to significantly reduce the price of packs. And so let's say like someone wants a Mbappe right now, they have to spend like $250 to $200 and here, like there are people who want to spend $20 for an Mbappe, and so like how can you, and I'm not saying Mbappe is $20, but the idea of the packs and whatnot. And so like we want to meet those users who we haven't really addressed. There's a profile of these managers who want to spend a little lower, but still play with the cards of their favorite players and stuff. So this allows us to do that, and that's kind of what this new scarcity is. I think common, as we called it, was that whole 1 year of this onboarding, and we realized that it's not exactly what we want. We can kind of tweak it and massage it into a different kind of scarcity that's more kind of like a battle pass, a seasonal play, and have fun with that kind of thing. And so each new season will be like a different board, a different art direction, different rules, and with it comes amazing like special editions that managers can collect, and those will be like as significant as our other special editions, where they can show what they have. It's going to be only them or who've opened it to be able to like kind of collect it, versus in limited you can just buy the card. Here, like you really have to unpack it, and so that creates that rarity. And by the end of the season, we'll see who has the rarest cards.
So 2 questions. One, what are we calling this new scarcity?
Great question. So right now, the going thing is a set. So you have a set of cards, like you have the winter set.
The winter set, okay.
The X set, and so yeah, you can call this the winter set. And so every 2 months we'll come up with a new set of cards, and they'll be branded based on that kind of season.
And are we keeping these sets after the board expires?
So you get to keep all your cards, yes.
Okay.
And you can play them in the regular common competitions that we have currently. you can play for those hot streaks in the common game. So this kind of moves seamlessly into the pro game model. So new users will see like this only board kind of gameplay. After they play 2 months of the game, they get transitioned to a existing user kind of design where like UI, so they can play the common game of with their winter cards, but at the same time they can then go in and play the new set. And so that's how it kind of works. And in your cards, you'll be able to filter through the different kind of sets that you've collected over the year.
And we can't sell them though.
Not yet, but the idea is, eventually, like you can sell the rare special editions. It's like the goal we want. That's like what we want to do, right? It's like have all these new managers and casual players get a sense of what ownership is and be able to like own the NFT of a special edition. And so by the end of the season, there's going to be a number of how many, like, let's say this middle card, Declan Rice, if he was like a snow guy, the Icebreaker edition, there would be a number of how many Icebreaker editions there were minted because of how many there were unpacked. And so that creates the rarity. And in that way, I think it's really unique and really exciting about this scarcity.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And so what's cool about that too is like you saw with like the Cursed edition, the one before that. My mind's kind of going crazy now. What was before the Cursed edition? There was one more, no?
We had the summer edition ones.
The summer edition, all those kind of editions, like they're taking part of the supply of the limited, and they kind of dilute, as you said before, like that whole idea of a special edition. What is a special edition to us? And so this is like we had like a meeting with the creative team, with the product team, to understand like what is special edition, what is all these things, and we realized that we can go crazy with the special editions in this kind of scarcity, and then in the actual limited plus categories, we'll still keep like the Ballon d'Or, I guess the Champions League winners, like those feel really special at the limited plus, and they don't take away from the if we can then remove all the other ones and bring it to this scarcity, we create this kind of world where we can go really crazy and really collectible in this moment. And then the limited plus will have the real true special editions of celebrating key moments in football.
Cool. Are these NFTs?
The icebreakers will be NFTs in terms of, yeah.
So like the special edition ones will be.
Exactly. And so in the future, they're going to be even rarer editions and all these things. And the odds are going to be much smaller and stuff. But this is the initial one where we can use our current creative in a way where we can move really quickly, build up the whole board, the whole environment. And then eventually, for all the users now, they can really, like, managers can collect these kind of open packs and try to collect all the NFTs.
Right. Okay. So the only way to get them to start is through the packs.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll kind of go here, or it goes through this onboarding pack. How many cards you get? You got to basically get one of each level: DNP, roster, key star, and icebreaker. And so I'm not going to go into all of it, but basically you get a free one every day, and then I assume it works similarly to the common game now, where you basically use Essence to get more packs.
Yeah, so we're gonna have one Essence pack and we're gonna have 2 gem packs. The 2 gem packs are gonna be tiered, so you're gonna have a really like icon pack where there's a high chance to get an icon player. Icon players in the new tiering system are like the 4 best players per league.
Right.
And then the other pack is gonna be less gems, but also give you a lot of like starters, roster players guaranteed, with the potential for icon or a star player. And then you have the regular pack, which is going to give lower chances, obviously. It's like a free to play, but there's a chance, and they're going to give you some starter or roster players, some DNPs to help you complete your collections.
So, and I apologize because I was saying to you before, I don't play the common game at all. But I was also saying I'm amazed at how many people who are pro players that play the common game all the time. So if somebody wanted to spend $500 on a bunch of set packs, can they do that?
Yes, they can. And it's a way for them. We're not stopping people, as I said before. Like, we're allowing people who, however they want to play, because it's not you're not playing against people, you're playing against Sorare.
Right.
And so if a user wants to pay to win, they're not, breaking, like not beating anyone out of it or whatever. So free to play users can still grind. They can, the way it's been designed is that you can still collect like 50 to 55% through the different missions, through all the different, like if you stay engaged with the daily packs, you stay engaged doing the daily runs and doing all the missions, you can get a lot of cards still and play and grind your way to, the hot streaks. And for those who want to just kind of skip that and go straight to getting like the juicy cards, they can do that and play.
But it's really just buying those kind of like upper tier packs.
Yes, and so they have no control over who they
Right.
get or whatever. But that's kind of like the game mode.
Sure. Yeah. So if you need Mbappe, but you could end up presumably with like 5 Yamals instead. And oh well, sorry. So just to go over some of the details here, the collection bonus obviously applies, as that's basically what we're doing. We're trying to build collections, but there's no scarcity bonus and no card XP bonus. Is that just to kind of keep everyone somewhat on a level field no matter where they join?
It's actually a different reason. So it's more just simplicity. Like for new users coming in, like we found that like card XPs is pretty overwhelming. We also found that in-season bonus didn't make sense to them because they're only playing in season. And so by just having the collection bonus, we can teach them that collecting is a good kind of behavior mechanic to do to get rewarded, to increase the strength of your cards. And I think that's enough for the new user to kind of get and play.
And just to clear something up here, the question was, can I use the current common cards I have? I have almost all collections complete: 3 Elises, 3 Pedris, 2 Mbappes.
That's very nice that he has all those. Wow. I'm jealous, but unfortunately you cannot complete, you cannot play your common cards in the board, but you can still play them in your current competition. So that does remain unchanged. That remains unchanged regarding the pro competition common. I think it'll be mixed, so you can play any cards, but this one is specifically like our in-season concept for the scarcity.
And a question earlier that actually kind of goes the other way. If someone's missing a common card and they get his winter set card, does that count towards the common collection?
I think we're gonna have to like reframe the concept of what a common is, right? You're basically saying like the base common, the base cards that you have currently, it won't count. It'll be for the winter edition. So what you're gonna have to do is in the market, use your existing common essence and buy the packs to hopefully complete your collection. But all winter edition, all of the winter set will be dedicated to this winter board, the winter collection, and it'll all be kind of shown that way.
So I think a lot of people are just going to have to come to the understanding that while this is a free-to-play game, it's not a common cards. Like we're separating essentially, as you've been calling it, a new scarcity, that you'll have your winter set and whatever the next, we're not going to call it spring set, I assume, but whatever the next one is, and then the World Cup set, whatever we call that. But it's not a common card mode. And so any kind of questions of like, oh, can I use this in common or go back and forth? Like, I assume the answer is presumably no, because they're just different.
Yeah, they'll be considered classics at that point.
Right. Okay, let's see. This is a fun one. Well, the NFT cards, so those are basically the special edition set cards. Are those numbered?
Good question. I can't like speak for the team, but I think they will be numbered. I don't think there will be a slash out of whatever, but there will be a number for yours.
Right. Okay.
I think after the set like finishes, that's when that would be determined how many of the supply there have been minted. That's the only way we can find out.
There's a lot of concern about card supply going into the World Cup. Will this be the only World Cup mode?
That's another good question. I will say maybe. I don't want to give away too much, but I know that this is the number one mode that we want to attract new users and get the interest of all those like casual players. For existing pro players with their existing cards, there will probably be something that we've done exactly like in Euro Cup and maybe AFCON. We had the quick play. We'll be doing some stuff like that. In terms of a whole new supply of we can't, right? Like the cards are already been minted out, and so probably not. But there might be other things that could come in the future. But for now, this is the focus.
So the question that will be hanging on everybody's mind that I'll just ask you, even though this is putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Sorare 27 cards are not going to be like launching for the World Cup.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that Sorare 27 will be launched at Sorare 27.
Cool.
The World Cup will have the World Cup set Scarcity, so that's the cards that we're going to be printing, and then you can use your existing cards in ways we'll figure out, whether it's our current structure of quick play, our current structure of special competitions and stuff like that.
Okay, so the game board. Let's go into the game board here, because I think this is where this is totally different than anything that we've had on Sorare, and I think not that Rivals was exactly what Sorare Pro was at the time, but it was a 5-player lineup and we kind of competed against each other. This literally looks like a brand new game. And so I'd love it if you could just talk about kind of how do you even start building a brand new game like this after having kind of a foundation of Sorare for the last 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, great question. And it's kind of what I was saying before, like we have to like meet the casual users where they're expecting some kind of UI like this. And so how can we take all the great patterns, the great features that we have in Pro that all our managers love, and kind of repurpose it in this kind of world? And when we laid it out in this way, it actually made a lot of sense. Like, as I said before, the daily runs, the collection missions, the hot streaks, they're in different places on the site. And it's just like really hard. And so what can we do and bring it all together? And you have this kind of like Duolingo score hero on the first screen. You see here, like you'll see like a path, and you're just having to work your way to the very top, right? So here, the first one was complete. You go to the second, and you play that game mode. And then to the right-hand side, you have your side mission. So you have the daily runs in the first purple. And so you can see here, you can do missions every day to like get tickets. So you can spin the wheel, and it's all contained within its own kind of world. And then below the blue ball is like the collection mission. So once you collect more set cards, you can claim more essence to buy more, and the loop continues. And you really don't need to get out of that world, and you can kind of stay focused in there. And what you're seeing here on the first screen is actually not hot streaks. It's actually onboarding. And what we did with the onboarding, if you zoom into that yellow little guy, it's actually a new kind of game mode within onboarding itself called replay. And what it does is basically we're asking the user to pick a card that they think did well in the last game. And so the first card, you see Evan Gasson, like it's only one card, so it's SO1, the first for new users. So we just say pick a card who you think the player scored 50 points in their last match. And they can pick a player, and we close the game loop right away. Like it's instant because it's a past match. They can see if they won or they lost. If they lost, they can pick another player. If they won, they get essence as the reward. And then they go to the second tile, which is you see here is SO2. And then the third would be SO3. And so we kind of like onboard them through this kind of like, learning the UI, learning the mechanics of daily run, collecting and buying packs, and like learning gameplay and the scoring through previous games. And that way the user can finish the onboarding in like 15 minutes, understand our game right away, and get onboarded to the hot streaks in like the first session. And so they got rewarded like 3 times, and they feel confident. And then from there, they play the hot streaks. And then on the far right in the hot streaks, as you see, it's like the cash rewards will be up to like $1,000 to finish the last hot streak level. And then below that, we mentioned before, is like the unpack rare special editions. So that's like the whole kind of like value proposition we're selling to the casual user.
So this is, at least this first step, is only available for new Sorare users, as opposed to all of us who are technically new to this game mode?
I think we will all be playing this onboarding.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. So, but you will have a different UI where you'll have your tabs. So you'll have like Pro, Arena, on top, and then the Set tab. And so it'll be a little different. But here, if you look, even if you look at the navigation, I think, or can you see the navigation? Oh, you can't. So it's only going to be play, market, my cards for these new users.
Right.
And so we'll have a very simple navigation. Play is a board, my market is to buy packs, and then my cards to see your packs. And so it's going to be super, super simplified. And as you can see, the creative team was working really hard on creating these really like cool kind of like gamified version of our game. And I love it, and it's only going to get better.
There was a question here, which says, so the essence for this new rarity is totally different from the common essence we use now, which I assume is yes, because it's basically unrelated to common.
Exactly. Yes. So what's going to happen is that when the winter, you'll have winter essence, right? Playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that winter essence, you can buy the winter packs and keep playing. And then once the winter board finishes, that winter essence will then get converted to common essence or just a base essence. And I think when we say common, we should think of it more like a base. Like this is like a world that culminates all the different sets that have been kind of that have gone this season. And so after like 3 series sets, you'll have like a bunch of like essence translated to the new common, like basic common essence, where you can buy old packs and stuff like that to like complete your collection.
Oh, okay. Is there no PvP? Are there plans to introduce it for the World Cup? Like you said before, like we're playing against you guys at this point.
Yes. So this first iteration, as I said before, like an MVP, minimal viable product, we can only guarantee execution and this kind of very simple thing of, which is onboarding, get people onboarded, play the hot streaks, and try to go for cash. The next iteration, we want to do social features. And so this one is to prove this model is good, prove that, like, learn from the community of what we needed to improve. And so we'll take all those learnings, we'll put into the new board. And while this board is kind of happening now, we're also in the design phase of social features. And so we're working on social, introduce maybe PvP, maybe PvE all, maybe squad versus squad. We're still thinking about it, but that's like the idea, because all these kind of games also have a social component to it. And so we're really excited. Maybe we bring back things that people loved, maybe we don't, who knows?
Is there a plan for this to be in NBA and or MLB as well?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That was a quick answer. All right.
Yeah. Because we have it for NBA and MLB as well. I think MLB will have the second board. It won't be the winter because the spring season starts in like mid-March. So it'll be then.
Okay. Awesome. So it seems like it's still at some point like you'll need your 5 players, and it looks a lot like Champion because it's the 4 champion leagues, which you kind of go into. Again, I don't really want to read the whole blog, but this is really where we are. Top prize of $1,000 for a free to play game. Can you talk to us a little bit? So the gems that you can win on the way up, obviously, like it's essence in the first 2, gems in the next 2 after that, and then cash. That's cash, or ETH, whatever. It's not market credits.
No, not market credits, just cash. And so, yeah.
So somebody asked before, can you use market credits to buy these? Do you buy the gems or do you buy the packs?
So you can buy gems.
Okay.
And you spend the gems to buy packs.
And so
like packs.
Can you use market credits to buy gems?
No. Okay. But you can use your, I think, wallet balance to buy gems.
Right. Of course. So the 2 things that are in play here, which I think is basically the combination of hot streaks and quick play. You get up to level, you beat level 6 here, you get $1,000, and you can do this as many times as possible throughout the set.
Yes, as many times. There's no game week lock. There's no, so if you wake up on Saturday morning, you have like a bunch of cards from the first set of games, like 10 a.m. You play them, you get to streak 2, you play it in mid-afternoon. By the end of Saturday, you're at like streak 3, and then the next day on Sunday you can see yourself get up to 440, and then on Monday evening for the Monday night games you have the 480. Like that's like the goal, and you can keep on doing that for midweeks, and so we really want to. I think mobile users and casual gamers, like they don't want to be tied to some restrictions and weight and everything. So we're killing all the waiting, we're killing all the idea of a game week notion, and it's really just set your lineups. If you have the hearts and so you survive, if you don't, you reset.
And so the going back to the where was I just about to go with that?
I think you got to
wrote everything else down, and I didn't write that one down.
No worries.
Man, what was it? Oh, whatever.
Was it to do with,
that's what it was. So obviously, there aren't matches every single day for these cards. For the big four leagues. Obviously, if we have Champions League or Europa, some of them will be able to play midweek. But I assume that there are going to be missions on days that are they just like collecting missions, or how do you get someone to do something in this game every single day if there are not matches every single day?
It's a good question. It's going to be a couple of things. Like we'll have people, doing the daily run to log in, buy a pack, claim, try to collect a certain try to collect certain players from certain teams is like kind of the collection mission. So it's really a collecting game as well on the days that there are no games. But if there's like only one game happening, we'll still have like a daily picker. So we're moving the missions to this kind of game mode. And so you'll have a daily picker where you can try to pick a player who scores a decisive and keep them engaged in those days when they don't have like a game or a number of games enough to field a lineup.
Right. And the lineup's 5.
4 lineups. Yeah.
Did I think I
yeah, so if you have 4 attempts, which
right. I'm sorry. I meant 5 players in the lineup.
Oh, yes, 5 players. So it's gonna be SO5 champion, as you say. So we're subconsciously teaching a new user how to play the real pro game, and also teaching the idea of in-season, classic, all these things, and in a really mobile-friendly way.
So, did I skip it? So we have 4 attempts at each level?
Yes. So let's say you're at level 3 and you have your 4 lives, because every time let's say you have 1 life left, but you hit the streak 2 and you're on streak 3, we'll replenish your lives. So every new level, you'll start with 4 lives again. And so if a lineup doesn't hit the streak, you lose a life. And so if you have 4 lineups that don't hit the streak, you go back to 1. But if, let's say your last life, you're on your last limb, whatever, but you hit it just 1 point over, you'll go up to the next streak with all your lives back. And it's like a fun little game.
Yeah. Okay. So essentially you get 4 chances at each level.
Yep.
If you need them.
Yeah.
Okay. It's one of those that you're like, oh, that's easy. Sure, of course.
Yeah, right. Like I look at that chart, and like as I was making it, I was like, wait a minute, I can do this. Like, it's no problem, And it's really cool because we're not like because it's not 1,000 every week. It's 1,000 you can almost do every day, like not every other day or whatever. It's like it's very appealing, I think, in terms of trying to go for it.
Maddie here says, how will an active common user be determined? By own cards, finished collections. Maddie, what is that in reference to?
Oh, I think it's about getting rewarded for active to transition to the new winter set.
Oh, yes.
So I think what we're considering an active user is two things, 2 criteria. One is obviously like paying gems to open packs. Like you're spending money, so we're trying to like reward you for your loyalty. And the second one is completing collections. So I don't know how the data guys kind of like do their ratios or whatever, but it's going to be a combination of spending packs, buying gems and completing collections.
Okay. This is a good question here. So are we playing 1 lineup at a time, or can we play multiple lineups?
You can play 4 lineups at a time.
So it's possible in one game, if they all don't hit, then you're out.
You're out. And so it's like, it's a risky way to play. I wouldn't play that way, but some people can. what's cool is that if you have, let's say, if you have 3 lineups set, the first one hits it, everything gets replenished. So those 2 lineups that were yet to play, all the players come back to your deck, and you can play them again immediately.
Yeah. So they don't automatically just go to the next, meaning, do you have to make the lineups again for the next step?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. One of the other questions a couple people put in, but I think, here we go. The wheel. Everybody loves the wheel. Is the wheel going to be different from the current common wheel? Obviously, we're winning different things, but is it essentially the same idea?
Yeah, it's the same idea. I think there was a little update to the wheel, the common wheel. I think, and I think we did that update to test the balance and the ratios of the reward. So I think what you see now is going to be very close to what you see in the set. And so what's happening is that there won't be a common wheel anymore. It's only going to be in the set. And so you can win winter essence, you can win cool cards, you can win even maybe gems. So it should be cool.
Okay, awesome. Does the reward of the common collection stay? Like, I think, what is it, a 5 or a market credit when you complete a collection? I assume that's.
So yeah, no, it won't. All the rewards for the collections will be for the set scarcity now, but there will still be the common like classic mode hot streak rewards. I don't know what the rewards will be, but I think they will probably be changed to gems so that you can buy into the set scarcity.
So all of this announcement, nothing is really changing from the regular common game right now, other than the wheel is leaving.
So what do you mean by that? Because I think in the common game now, you won't have like the daily missions, the daily runs will be moving to the set scarcity. The wheel will be, the common collections will be. So all that will be moving into the set scarcity. And so all that really remains from the common game that we know now is that it's going to turn to a classic mode. You can play them in the pro common collection, like pro common game. And that's about it.
Okay, that makes sense. I did skip ahead a little bit, but basically it's just kind of the individual levels, where we win. Here's an example kind of one of the missions that you can collect. And I guess the idea is just the more essence that you accumulate through missions and the gameplay, the more packs that you can acquire.
Yeah, kind of like snowballs, right? It's like as you get more cards, you unpack more, you like claim more missions, you get more essence, you can buy more packs, and it kind of goes in, and all of a sudden you'll have like 50% of the cards just from doing this kind of missions alone.
Right. So yeah, we can't just buy a Real Madrid collection to get the bonus. We need to buy packs and hope to hit the Real Madrid cards. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the limited essence we get for completing team collections will be gone.
Yeah, it will be gone. It will be, because it's like, I think the goal of common was onboarding and to build that bridge so you finish the kind of collecting and getting the common cards, you understand the game, and then we give you the limited essence as a new user so that you can kind of move to limited. But in this mode here, we're saying that there are a lot of users who don't need to or want to move to limited. They can now be rewarded with gems to play into the next scarcity, the next season. And that's like the idea.
Okay. So what's the path that you see people taking? Like, they play the sets mode. What about this like brand new gameplay kind of delivers them into the pro version of the game?
Well, I think as like, let's say new users or whoever come in and they play the first set season, they'll learn the basics of the game. They'll learn, like, they'll have fun, and then by the end of the first series or season, they come to like a fork, right? Do they say, I like this game mode. It's very appealing to me. It has everything I kind of want. They can move there. But then there's another fork, which is going to be limited plus, and they'll learn about the idea that you can scout players, that your utility is a whole year, not 2 months. You can, buy the cards, but you can also sell them, and you can do a whole trading thing with managers. And so there are a lot of pros to that of the limited plus game that can speak to a portion of these kind of new users, and they'll kind of gradually move there. There are also some limited players who we know will probably actually like the scarcity game, the set game more than the limited game, and we're totally understanding that might cannibalize some users, but I think they'll have a better experience, and I think we're fine with that as well.
Yeah, I think the way that I'm thinking of it now is that this new game mode kind of teaches you some of the foundations of Sorare Pro, and it's not necessarily trying to copy exactly what the pro game, are you calling it limited plus? Basically, like being able to play that. I think it's one of the hardest things that you guys have had to deal with for years, that it's because there is such a vibrant primary and secondary market in terms of how we acquire our cards that is not easily replicable with a free-to-play mode. And so something like this at least starts to teach you about building collections that help you in the game. They teach you the scoring matrix of being able to build lineups and all of that. And so not having like a direct free version of the pro game as kind of an onboarding tool. And like you said, it's more getting people to have fun on the site and then learning kind of the ins and out of the game. Is that kind of the direction that you guys were trying to go in now?
Yeah, exactly. Like playing for something and like feeling like you have, like stakes in the game almost. It's like I like this game. I want to be involved in this game. I want to invest in this game and play and whatnot. And rather than like, oh, just a free game and just collect cards and that's it. It doesn't really it doesn't emulate well the real value of our game in limited plus level. And so what we want to do is really kind of bring that without bringing the complicated UX, UI, the scouting, and like the high value points. And so reducing all those barriers to entry still allows us to teach the game and in a way that's very unique, or no, very like pretty similar to the limited plus, but in different ways.
So let's talk about this because I feel like we're getting a bunch of questions about this, kind of what happens, because it does say the winter essence at the end of the set is going to be converted into common essence, which will allow you to kind of complete the collections from the winter set. Is that correct?
Yes. So basically the winter packs become common classic packs. Your classic common essence will, you'll get that. And like the winter essence, the current in-season set will be converted to a classic essence. And so that classic essence, you can buy classic packs. And so let's say down the line in like 3 seasons later, I still haven't finished the winter, but I'm dying to finish it. I can spend my classic essence that I win in pro classic. I can buy those packs if I want, but all the in-season essence can only buy the in-season pack.
And completing a collection from a prior set is really just for collecting sake.
Intrinsic value of collecting.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, will those packs include any special edition cards?
Low percent of odds. I think that's the idea.
But you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, so I'm saying there's like the packs, all those packs will have a low percent, like a very, very low percent. But the ones in season with the gem packs, they'll have a higher percent.
Sure.
To unpack the NFT cards.
Yeah. Okay. Can you give us an indication of how many of the special editions we can expect, like per player?
I think it's really going to be the odds. Like really, I don't think we put a certain number of them in. It's just going to be random number generator opening, and you get your things with those odds.
No. Well, it was more like, will we know ahead of time that there are going to be 10 Jude Bellingham special edition winter set cards?
I don't think so. I think it's really be like you unpack it, and you got the good odds of the pack. So yeah, we don't put a predetermined number in. We just
Right.
kind of, if you unpack it, you unpack it, and it's great. And if you're the only one after 2 months to unpack that one card, that's scarcity, and that's the kind of cool value and beauty of the game mode.
That's kind of where I was getting at. It was, at what point do we know, oh my gosh, I have the only whoever card? And
probably by the end of the season, yeah.
Right.
And what's cool is that the next season, like the next set of cards, the board, we're gonna do something even crazier in terms of card design and art and stuff, and it'll be even rarer than what it is now. So I think for card collectors and who love that kind of aspect of the game, this will speak to them very much at a very accessible price point.
For sure. Right. So I'm trying to think of the it's not really a play to win, but a pay to collect. But essentially, if you wanted to have a higher chance of finding these cards, it's essentially just buying more gems in order to open more packs.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. I think we're also going to do things later down, like live ops, where maybe it'll be like at the higher levels you can win packs, or maybe through social features you can win packs like gem packs.
Yeah.
There are many ways we can do it so that it can be other ways, but that's the main way.
Okay. And with the hope that all of this is like everybody loves it, is the expectation that it just keeps going after the World Cup, or is this kind of a World Cup is it, and then we come back to whatever else is next?
No, I think we'll carry it on to the next season, and we're going to see how it's played out. Because like what's cool is that we can do one board, and we can test. First board is going to be testing this whole loop. The second board will maybe test like new card designs, new social features. The third design will be the World Cup polished product, and then the fourth could be maybe multi boards, multi leagues. Who knows? That's like the idea for 27. I can't promise much because we're really focused on the World Cup.
Sure.
But I see the vision of multi boards, and stuff like that.
Wow.
And those boards don't have to be a league. They can be a board of missions, a board of quick play, a board of hot streaks. Pretty cool.
Yeah, my mind is like racing with where it could go. Ben said, will you do a Korea and Japan set for the summer? I assume like the summer is World Cup, and then after that, we'll see.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna have like I guess JK League, like, but not for the, I don't know for the like the Scarcity set, like for this new set, but for Limited Plus there will be. I know that they're working with the licenses right now, so I can't speak too much on it, but they will be there. I mean, they're working on it.
So in terms of the timing of how long the set is, did you guys land on the 2 months because it allows you to do 2 boards before the World Cup, or is that kind of a time frame that you guys really like? We obviously have the championship now in the pro game where we're competing for a month, but yeah. Was there any feedback used from that to say 1 month isn't enough, or is this timing really just to make sure we're ready for the World Cup, which I think is totally reasonable if that's the case?
I think it's more so the length of game weeks. I say that we're killing game weeks, but there is the idea of trying to get the most utility out of the cards you own. Right. And so if you just did 1 month, you can only play your Jude for like 4 games. And so by extending it to 2 months, you can have 8 bites of the apple with your favorite cards. And it's also pretty, I think, similar to other kind of battle passes that do seasonal play. 2 months is kind of the number. And we're like rushing, like working really, really, like the engineering team is like working days and night, like all the time, like really working hard to get this released soon so that we can have the 8 weeks for this one to get the proper testing and get everything we need for the first board so that we learn and we can iterate for the second board and the third.
And apologies for my own kind of ignorance on it, is the term board, like, is that more of it like a mobile game, not phrase, but like where did that come from, basically?
Honestly, that was just my my internal doc that I wrote. Like I just wrote board. I didn't know what to call it, and now I'll call it. Like everyone's calling it a board. I don't know if it's the right word. Maybe map but I think board game, board, stuff like that. It makes sense.
Well, I think the use of the word board immediately made me think of a game, and then when you have this, like this is like that's what a lot of board games look like now. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, so
it makes sense to me.
If anyone in the community has better ideas, we can work on it. So everything is kind of like in this world, but we're really happy with the idea of calling this new Scarcity the set. I think we're thinking like every new 2 months is a new set of cards. And so that's the kind of direction.
Okay. I'm going to ask this question. I don't expect you to be able to answer it. Maybe not, but will the World Cup set be national team kits?
Most likely not. We probably like, in the Euro Cup, what we had.
Were those the silhouette cards?
They were the Euro Cup with the flags on the card. Like we did like a thing like that. So I think most likely we'll do something like that. I think just for like licenses, timings, and everything, we're focusing on the board mostly. Like there'll be kind of it'll be easy to differentiate. Like we'll have a new like these set of cards. There's no what's the word like rules or constraints. It's full art, full creative liberties. So I think the creative team will do really sick designs for each country, but we'll be probably using the current kit, like the club kits and stuff.
Yeah. There've been a couple questions in the chat that I'm just going to address that, like people asking about Argentina cards and a couple other things. Like the point of this show wasn't for that. There may be one later in the next few days that can answer that, but like we're hoping to stick kind of on this set thing, which is why I'm not ignoring I am ignoring the questions, but I'm ignoring it for the reason of trying to keep us on topic here. And to clarify, Holty said, is limited plus a Sorare 20 thing? Is it different to limited pro? I took limited plus as basically the pro game limited and up.
Yes.
Meaning rare, super rare, unique. Not a new.
Yeah. Limited plus is like, as you say, Laird, like the Scarcity. It could be a subscription number. No, I'm joking. It's the Scarcity. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm saying a lot of internal dialogue that I'm used to, and I'm sorry to kind of confuse anyone.
No worries on that. Will the set card designs carry over to limited plus card designs at the same time?
So no. So the limited plus will have the regular kind of designs that we do every season. So the 27 cards will look really sick, but they'll be the yellow, red, blue, and purple. And then the sets will be their own take. We're even like removing like the constraints that we have of like the frames and like the same kind of layout as you see here. Like this is very much stuck to like the limited plus design, but the new sets will be completely different, and it'll be more like tops and trading cards and stuff like that in the future. So yeah, it'll be very different, and it'll be very different every 2 months.
Right. Cool. Are there any L15 scoring cap requirements on the set board? I assume that means like when going for the hot streaks.
Well, now we'll be L10, but
right.
Yeah, score cap. No score cap. So you can put your Ulises, Yamals, all together with everyone, all the goats, if you want to go for that 480, which is very enticing, I think. In basketball, we will have a cap. This is the nature of the game. But for football, it'll be, play your goats, try to go for the top.
Do you guys have a thought of how many pro players will play this?
No, I'm not the math numbers data guy, but I would say, we're expecting at least a lot of the limited players to play and the engaged rare players. I think, like, as I said before, like the pro car that we did, the F1 model, like we really invested so much of our first 6 months on the pro game for the limited plus users. This is just our attempt at answering a lot of the issues that we've been seeing for like the new users that can like help them and as a team move forward in a great way with a lot of speed and hit all the things that we need to hit. But I know that there is a good amount of people at the limited level who like their minimum spend isn't like giving them maybe what they exactly want, but that minimum spend is like a perfect amount for this game mode. And
Right.
so we're really happy to have those customers, those managers come over here and explore and enjoy the benefits of this new scarcity and like get all the players that they actually want to play with and enjoy that.
Question here, which I think I can even answer this. Will set cards be tradable or a secondary market? Collecting them sounds cool, but only accessing them through packs sounds limiting. So the only cards that will be tradable are the special edition ones. And is that only after the set is over?
Good question. I think so. I think that's just to limit us from, fraud and other multi-counting and things like that. But I think you can, if you like love a design, love a favorite player, love the card, if it's just a one of one and ends up becoming one of one, like you'll be able to sell it or trade it on the secondary market after the scarcity, like the season ends.
Right. And that's the set season, not like the league, like the Premier League season.
Set season, sorry.
Yeah. Is there a thought to have all of the cards be sellable or is it always going to be just the specials?
Just the specials, I think.
Okay.
Like as you said before, like in Pokemon, your Caterpies and Metapods are not going to be very sought after, but the Charizards of the world, Hollows, those are the ones with value, and we want to keep that kind of mentality and value, aspect for our game.
Right. And was there any thought of basically how this affects the price of limited cards?
I don't think it should affect the price of limited cards. It's its own scarcity, and it's a very different game mode. Where in limited, you still have full season utility. You still have hot streaks. I think the limited cards will be priced based on the prize pools that we give out for the next season. So I don't think it should have any effect because, as you said, Laird, like you see now, like a lot of our players, they haven't completely sold. So it's not a question of demand or whatever or like issue that we're having. So I think that the value will still be kind of tied to those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. I knew this question was going to come up, but basically, like, why not let them all be sellable if people are trying to complete collections? Like theoretically, once the set's over, if I understand this correctly, the only way to complete the set is using the common essence that you did accumulate throughout each prior set, basically.
Yeah, it's part of the game mode. It's part of chase. It's part of a collection game. Like it's like we don't want to make it too easy. We want to have like I think all games should have some challenge, and this is the challenge. Is like you have a certain time limit, and you need to like kind of grind to complete the collections.
Yeah, no, I get that. Caterpie isn't cool until it's the only card you need to complete.
Yeah, you still have those packs, right? You can still play the common pro game to get common essence to then buy those packs and hope to unpack it. So that's like a good way to do it. So, and who knows, like, as I said before, we build for the fans with the fans. If all the managers are really feeling like they need this kind of way to like open the secondary to these other cards, like we can look into it, and like this is a place where we're working together as a community, as a team, and building the best experience for this game mode. So if enough people really feel that way, like we can look into it.
I'm probably looking too far into the future, but I'm thinking let's say this is wildly successful, everybody loves it, and we're on our 5th, 6th, 7th set. So presumably that's a year if we use the 2-month time frame for each set. You could use common essence to buy packs from any of those sets.
I think so, or at least the of the year. So 26th season, you'll have 5 sets. You can buy any of the 5 sets. That's how new I guess this whole thing is. And like I don't want to speak for anyone else and what I think should be, but that's probably what makes sense because all the cards still have the 26 kind of aesthetic or brand or whatever. So like I think that would make sense to me.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to look a year or two ahead for a game that hasn't even launched yet. That's what I'm doing.
It's good.
I don't think I have any other questions. Like I said, if anybody's watching this on YouTube, the blog is linked in the description of the video. It's going to be, I think we got a notification about it anyway. So it's here. Appreciate you guys putting the live with Laird on there. It's a fun button to see.
So,
But yeah, so pretty much everything is there. I assume there will be plenty of gameplay questions like once it's up and running. And we're expecting that, like I said, sometime, I mean, late January, today's January 20th, late January to early February is 2 or 3 weeks in my head. So it is obviously going to be launching quite soon.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like two things, like we want to launch it to let you guys know to, complete your collections now. You have like 3 weeks to like finish all your collections that you've been, chasing for, and then give you guys that ample amount of time. And then also for us, set like a deadline for us to like grind and get it done so that we can give you guys the best experience for the longest amount of time possible.
And just to clear this up, can you only get players through packs with gems, or can you use gems? And if it's only gems, how do I get the game gems to start? So basically it's like, how do you get packs?
Yeah, so you can spend the season winter essence to get packs. If you go back to the board image, you can basically like in the onboarding, like all those onboarding missions will give you essence. Like on the left-hand side, like the little tiles, they'll give you essence to buy packs. You get, through playing the game, you get like missions to like claim the tickets to spin the wheel to get more essence. So we'll give you a lot of essence in the very beginning to like be able to build an arsenal of like cards to like go attack the hot streaks. But at the same time, if you just want gems, you can buy gems through the store, and you can kind of do that. If that answered the question.
So I think it's basically you use essence to get packs, and if you want any additional packs, you can buy gems, and those turn into packs. The other way to get essence, obviously, we didn't talk about this, is scrapping any cards that you get. So if you have duplicates, triplicates, whatever you have, or you just got cards you don't want, you can get rid of those to get essence, which you can see here, 10,000 essence for an icon if you scrap that, and then you can use that essence to get packs.
That's a great answer. Thank you.
Just got to read. That's all. That's all. I read so nobody else has to. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I think sorry, I thought I got another question, but I didn't see it come in. Is there anything, or actually, this one's come up a little bit. Any plans to expand to Serie A? I assume this is just a licensing issue.
Yeah, it's a licensing thing. The business team is on it, is always trying to negotiate. But Serie A is very interesting. They have their own rules. I think there's a whole thing of team. The Serie A doesn't control the images, imaging rights, whatever. It's the teams and the player individuals. So you have to negotiate with hundreds of parties, and so it's a little complicated.
Yeah, and just to clear up, so Luke's saying, so if I scrap all my cards now, and I assume that means the current common cards, do I have that essence to start this new thing, which I think is no.
No, it's better to keep your cards, especially if you have full collections. And then, yeah, it won't.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying before, that this is just different from the current common game. So don't think really much of it is transferable at all.
Yeah, it's like your current commons will be classic, and then there's a new in-season coming in. So, still hold your classics to keep your collections full, and it's just a Panini page book of all of the cards you've collected over that season, which is cool.
Right. I think I certainly got through all of the questions that I had. I believe. Is there anything that you wanted to add in before we go?
No, just thank you for your time, and thank you to the whole community for spending time to listen and to learn, and really counting on everyone to give the feedback. Play often, enjoy the game, and hopefully it meets your expectations. And if it doesn't, we're going to work really hard to improve it.
Awesome. Yeah, Tulga and I were talking before about how they get feedback from everywhere, whether they ask for it or not. And so I think they do a really good job of making sure that they listen and hear what people are saying. So with a new game mode like this, it's if you come on something that you either like or don't like, giving them that feedback is really important, because as Tulga said before, they're going to use that feedback to help them build this second board set.
Board, yeah, second board.
Second board. And the idea is that helps get the World Cup board to be as fun and as enjoyable as possible. And so that's the goal. We all want to be able to enjoy the World Cup with a game that's really fun and centered around Sorare. Simple as that. Tulga, always appreciate the time, especially the throwback jersey as well. So the bar is set. So every time you come back, we're going to have to, we'll do it. But anyway, thanks everyone for coming. Like I said, any questions, you can leave comments in this video. They'll be reviewed and everybody can see the answers and whatnot. So anyway, Tulga, thank you. Everybody else, thank you as well. And don't forget to go outside.